When I told my family I was moving to Arizona, no one looked up from their phones. I got a job offer, I said at Sunday dinner. MHM, my mom replied, passing the salt. I'm leaving next month. Okay, my brother shrugged. I sent the details in the group chat. Twice. I mailed my new address for holiday cards. I even called my mom the week I left. Can you imagine telling your family you're moving across the country? Not once, not twice, but 6 times, only for them to turn around 10 months later and scream, "Why didn't you tell us?" That call, that absolute explosion of disbelief, finally forced them to see a truth they've been ignoring for years. I'm Max, by the way. I'm 29, a software engineer. And for most of my life, I felt like the human equivalent of elevator music, always present but utterly forgettable. My family? Well, they're not bad people, just oblivious. I mean, I try to tell them. 6 different times, in 6 different conversations, with 6 distinct declarations. I tried to tell them I was relocating to Arizona. The first time was Easter supper, a few years back. I was passing the ham, casual as could be, and I said, so I got a job offer in Phoenix for a software engineering position. It's a great opportunity, and I'm thinking about taking it. My mom was on her phone, Dad was watching baseball highlights, and my sister Emily was trying to feed her kid mashed potatoes. That's nice, honey, Mom replied, without even looking up. I just waited. Surely someone would ask a follow-up question. We're in Phoenix. When would I start? How much would they pay? Nothing. Dad clapped at something on TV. Emily wiped applesauce off her daughter's face. Mom scrolled. I might as well have said I was thinking about getting a haircut. No questions, no follow-up. Just, that's lovely, honey, and back to scrolling. I know it sounds dramatic, but this was my life. When I was 12, my family went to Disneyland. They got halfway through the day before realizing I wasn't with them. I've been sitting alone on a bench near Splash Mountain for 45 minutes. When they finally found me, Mom's only question was, why didn't you keep up? When I graduated high school, they showed up 20 minutes late, so I missed my name being called. We ended up taking photos with Emily, who'd graduated 3 years earlier, but came to show her support. When I moved in my first apartment at 23, I invited them over for dinner. They canceled at the last minute because Emily needed help moving a sofa. I spent that night eating spaghetti alone, staring at a table set for 5. So, yeah, when I announced I was moving to a new state, I shouldn't have been surprised by the lack of response. But I was still, somehow, disappointed. 3 weeks later, on Mom's birthday, I tried again. We were eating cake, and I dropped it into the conversation. So, I took the position in Phoenix. I'll be relocating in June, most likely around the middle of the month. Dad sliced the cake. Phoenix? It's scorching out there. Yeah, but the income is great, and I'm ready for a change. That's excellent, son. I waited, hoping for something, anything. How far is Phoenix? I prompted, almost pleading, like flying distance. Oh, I don't know, Dad said, mouthful of cake. A couple of hours. About 4 hours if you drive, I said. But yes, flying is shorter. He nodded and looked across at Emily, who was showing Mom something on her phone. Conversation over. He grabbed another mouthful of cake and started talking to Emily about her son's baseball team. I just sat there, fork in hand, wondering if anyone had heard me, or if I had simply become a human version of elevator music. Present, but utterly unimportant. The third time was over a family barbecue during Memorial Day weekend. I was helping Dad grill burgers when I said, so I'm signing the lease in Phoenix this week, and the moving trucks are scheduled for June 18th. Good for you, he replied, flipping a burger. Yeah, it's a 1-bedroom in Scottsdale, near some fantastic hiking trails. Sound good? I tried one last time. I'll need to drive out there. Probably a 2-day journey. Leave early. Stop in New Mexico. Be careful on the desert roads. Lots of speeders. That was it. No, we'll miss you. No, that's a big move. No, let us know if you need help packing. Just sounds good. And a caution against speeding. Ryan, my younger brother, walked by, drink in hand. Hey, can someone help me move my gaming setup upstairs later? I got you, Dad said promptly. I stood there, tongs in hand, feeling the crushing weight of invisibility. The fourth time was more straightforward. A family group text, June 12th. Me, hello, everyone. Final reminder, I'm relocating to Phoenix next weekend. The new address will be 2847 Desert View Lane, Scottsdale, Arizona, 85251. Please let me know if you need any needs before I depart. I watched the group chat. I waited for replies. Emily shared a snapshot of her son's painting. 2 hours later, Mom replied to that with a heart emoji. Ryan sent a pizza meme. My message? Nothing. Not a single response. Not even a thumbs up. It lay there, unread by most, ignored by all. I took a screenshot. Not sure why. Maybe I knew I need proof someday. The 5th time was the day before my departure, June 17th. I went by the house to say farewell. Mom was in the kitchen. Dad was in the garage. Ryan was upstairs gaming. I'm leaving tomorrow morning, I told Mom. All the trucks are packed. She was making a grocery list. Oh, that's tomorrow? Have a safe voyage, honey. Yes, it's a lengthy drive. Probably take 2 days. Drink plenty of water. I waited there, hoping she would glance up. I was hoping she'd ask where I was staying on the drive and embrace me. She just added milk to her list. Okay, I think this is it. Drive safely, honey. That was it. No hugs. No we'll miss you. No family gathering to send me off. Simply, remember to drink plenty of water. I stepped outside to my pickup. Dad was sorting tools in his garage. I'm leaving tomorrow, Dad. Yep. Good luck out there. Thanks. He returned to his tools. I sat in my truck for a full minute, staring at the house. I grew up in this house. I was leaving, and I knew nobody was going to stop me. Nobody was going to say they'd miss me, because they wouldn't. I departed the next morning at 6 a.m., alone. I drove 16 hours to Arizona, with only a podcast playlist and the dawning, painful understanding that I could disappear without ever being seen. Turns out I was right. The first month in Phoenix was a blur of unpacking, learning a new job, and trying to get used to the scorching heat. I shared a couple of pictures on the family group chat. My new apartment, a sunset over Camelback Mountain, a photo of me hiking. No responses. Not even a nice view or a thumbs up emoji. I gave up trying after that. By month 4, I'd settled in. I made a few friends at work, started hiking every weekend, joined a climbing gym, and found my favorite taco restaurant. My coworker Sarah asked me one day, "You talk to your family much?" "Not really," I told her. "They know you moved?" I told them. They didn't listen. She chuckled, thinking I was kidding. I was not. I didn't call home. I didn't text. I didn't reach out. And nobody reached out to me. Not for my birthday in July. Not for Thanksgiving. Not for Christmas. Complete silence. It was as if I never existed. And honestly, it felt liberating. No guilt trips about missed events. No last-minute favors. No more being the neglected middle kid at family dinners. It was just me, my new life, and the desert heat. In month 7, I received a text from Emily. "Hey, Max, can you pick up Mom's medication tomorrow? She's out of refills, and the drugstore shuts early." I stare at the message, reading it 3 times. Me. I am in Arizona. 3 dots appeared, stopped, and reappeared. Emily, what? Me. I relocated to Arizona 7 months ago. I told everyone several times. Emily, oh, I assumed you were joking. Me. Emily. Why would I make that joke? Anyway, can anybody else obtain it? No response from her. I put down my phone and laughed, not because it was humorous, but because it was so utterly, perfectly on brand. 7 months. 7 months spent living in a separate state, and my sister assumed I was kidding. Month 10. No calls, no messages, no check-ins. I celebrated Thanksgiving with coworkers, Christmas with a friend's family, and New Year's alone on a hiking trail, watching the sunrise. It was serene. Sometimes it felt lonely, but it was peaceful. I shared a photo on Instagram. I'm at the Grand Canyon. Caption: year-end excursions. Emily liked it. I didn't get a comment. Mom didn't notice it. I wondered whether they would even notice if I just stopped posting, stopped appearing online, stopped trying. Probably not. Month 13. I received a call. It was Tuesday, March 15th. Exactly 10 months since I'd relocated. Mom called, which was unusual. I nearly didn't answer, but curiosity prevailed. "Hello. Max. Where are you?" "At home." "Why?" "You missed Emily's daughter's birthday celebration yet again." "Again?" "Yes. You have missed every single family gathering over the last year. Every birthday, holiday, and barbecue. We haven't seen you. What's up with you? I sat down on my couch and took a breath. Mom, I relocated to Arizona. Silence. What? I relocated to Arizona 1 year ago. I told you several times. No, you did not. Yes, I did. I told you during Easter, on your birthday, and at the Memorial Day cookout. I sent a group SMS, including my new address. I informed you the day before my departure. More silence. I don't recall that. I understand, because you weren't listening, Max. That is hardly fair, is it? I informed you 6 times that I was relocating to another state, and you didn't recall anything. You should have made it clearer. I laughed bitterly. How much clearer can I get? I literally gave you my new address. You could have phoned or visited. Let us know you're serious. I called. I told you. You just didn't care enough to recall. That is not true. Mom, I've been gone for 10 months, a full year, and you didn't notice until I stopped showing up for family occasions. It's not because you miss me. It's because it was inconvenient. Max, I need to go. Wait. I hung up. Sat there, gazing at my phone. 1 year. A complete year spent living in a separate state. They didn't realize it until it impacted them. That explained all I needed to know. Emily phoned 10 minutes later. Did you really migrate to Arizona? Yes. Why didn't you inform anybody? I did. 6 times. Nobody listened. Well, I don't recall that. I know you weren't paying attention, Max. That is not fair. We've been busy. You understand how hectic things are with the kids. It's been 1 year, Jess. You had time to post 50 photos of your children on Facebook, but you didn't notice I relocated to another state. That is different. Ow! She didn't respond. I have to go, I said. Mom's quite upset. Good. Perhaps now she'll pay attention. I hung up, and for the first time in 10 months, I felt vindicated. I'd always worried if my family would notice if I disappeared. Now I knew. They wouldn't. Not until it inconvenienced them. The calls began instantly. Dad phoned less than an hour after Emily hung up. I let it ring. I saw his name flash across my screen 3 times before it went to voicemail. Max, this is Dad. Your mother is quite unhappy. Call us back so we can discuss this like adults, like grown-ups. As if I were being childish. I erased the voicemail. Ryan followed up with a text. Ryan, brother and wife. Have you relocated to Arizona? Me. Yep. Ryan, when? Me. 10 months ago. Ryan, why didn't you say anything? Me, I did. Several times. You were playing Fortnite. Oh, Ryan, that was it. Oh, no apology. No acknowledgement. Oh, as I indicated, I got a haircut. Not that I had moved to a new state. That night, Mom called again. I nearly didn't respond, but I figured I'd better get it over with. Hello. Max, I've been thinking about our chat earlier. Okay. And I think you're being quite unjust. I close my eyes. How am I being unfair? You're acting as if we don't care that you relocated. But we did. We just didn't understand. You had followed through since you didn't listen. We were listening. You just weren't clear. Mom, I texted you my new address. How much clearer can I get? Well, we receive a lot of mails. We cannot be expected to recall every single one. It wasn't a single message. 6 distinct talks occurred over a 4-month period. I can't recall 6 chats. I understand what the issue is. Silence. Then your sister is quite upset since you didn't inform her. I told her. She doesn't remember. That is not my fault. Max, why are you making this so difficult? I laughed. Actually laughed. I'm being tough. I relocated to another state and no one noticed for a year. Yet I am the problematic one. You might have made more of an effort to keep in touch. I emailed photographs. I sent an SMS. I shared on social media. You disregarded everything. We did not disregard it. Mom, you did not even wish me a happy birthday. Silence. When was your birthday? July 17th. For months following my move. More silence. Okay, we must have texted you. You did not. Are you certain? Yes, Mom. I'm sure. She breathed annoyed. Okay, we forgot one birthday. That's not to say we don't care about you. It was not a single birthday. It has been every birthday, Christmas, and holiday for years. That is not true. Mom, when was the last time you phoned to ask how I was doing? She didn't respond. Exactly. I'm a busy person, Max. I got a lot going on. So do I. Nonetheless, I managed to inform you 6 times that I was relocating. Why are you acting so hostile? I'm not being hostile. I'm being honest. It feels unfriendly. I took a breath and tried to remain cool. Mom, I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm just trying to make it clear that I've been invisible to this family for a long time. And relocating to Arizona didn't change that. It just made it plain. She did not have a response for it. I have to leave, I said. Max, please wait. I hung up, sat on my couch, looking at the wall. Part of me felt guilty, part of me felt furious, and part of me simply felt exhausted. But overall, I felt pleased that I had finally said what I had been thinking for years, and it felt great. The next morning, I received a lengthy text from Emily. Emily, I do not like you making Mom weep. She's quite unhappy, and it's because you're overly theatrical about the whole affair. Yes, we did not notice you had relocated, but that is not a crime. We lead busy lives with children, careers, and obligations. We cannot keep track of everything. You're behaving as if we abandoned you, while in reality, you just departed without saying goodbye. That is on you, not us. If you wanted us to make a big issue about it, you should have done it yourself. Please do not blame us for your lack of communication. I reread it 3 times. Then I said, Me? I had told you 6 times. I provided you my address. I emailed photographs. I sent an SMS. I called. I did everything but go up to your house with a megaphone. But yes, it is my lack of communication. Emily, you're being foolish. You and I are being defensive because we both know I am correct. Emily, whatever. Max, enjoy Arizona. I hope it is worth losing your family over. Me? I did not lose my family. They just never realized I was a part of it in the first place. She did not react. I banned her phone number. Not because I was angry. I did it out of self-preservation, knowing that if I didn't, she'd keep messaging, keep guilt-tripping, keep making me feel like I'm the problem. And I was finished being the problem. 2 days later, Dad called. This time I responded. Hey, Dad. Max, we need to talk. Okay. Your mother is very hurt. She's been crying for 2 days. I'm sorry she's upset. Are you? Because it doesn't seem like it. I'm sorry she's upset. I'm not sorry for telling the truth. He sighed. Look, I get it. You feel like we didn't pay enough attention to your move, but you have to understand. We've had a lot going on. Emily's kids, Ryan's job search, your mother's book club. Life gets busy. I know life gets busy, but I told you 6 times, Dad. How many times does someone have to tell you they're moving to a different state before you remember? It's not about remembering, it's about priorities. That landed like a punch. What? I said what I said. We have priorities, and sometimes certain things take precedence. So, I'm not a priority. That's not what I said. That's exactly what you said, Max. Don't twist my words. I'm not twisting anything. You just admitted that I'm not a priority in this family. Look, you're taking this wrong. How should I take it? Silence. Dad, I'm not sure what you want me to say, Max. I want you to apologize, to admit that you should have paid more attention, and to acknowledge that I told you I was moving and you didn't care enough to remember. That's not fair. Yes, it is. He exhaled heavy and frustrated. Fine. I'm sorry. I should have paid more attention. Is that what you want to hear? Only if you mean it. I do. Do you? Yes, Max. I'm sorry. We should have been better. We should have listened. We should have made you feel like you mattered. I sat there, phone pressed to my ear, feeling something crack inside me. Thank you, I said quietly. So, can we move on from this now? I'm not sure. What do you mean you don't know? I mean, an apology is a start, but it doesn't fix years of being ignored. What do you want from us? I want you to care. Not just say it, but to show it. How? By checking in, asking how I'm doing, remembering important things I tell you, and treating me like I'm a member of the family rather than an afterthought. We can do that. Can you? Yes. Okay, we'll see. We hung up, and I sat there, staring at my phone. It was the most honest conversation I'd ever had with my father, and I had no idea if anything would actually change. A week later, Mom sent me a friend request on Facebook, which I accepted after staring at it for a full day. Emily unblocked me 2 weeks later and texted me, Hey Max, I'm sorry for what I said. She liked 3 of my old images from Arizona, none of which she had seen before, and remarked on one of them, Beautiful view. Glad you're doing well. I didn't react. I was defensive, and I shouldn't have been. You were right. We should have noticed, and I should have noticed. I'm sorry. Me. Thank you. Emily, are we okay? Me. I don't know yet, but we can work on it. Emily. Fair. It wasn't much, but it was something. A month after the big confrontation, Ryan called. Hey man, just wanted to say sorry. For what? For not noticing you moved, and for everything else. Everything else? Yeah, I know. I've been a bad brother. Always asking for things and never checking in. I'm working on it. Are you really? Or are you just saying that because Mom told you to? Both, honestly. But I mean it. I want to be better. Okay, we'll see. That's fair. We spoke for another 10 minutes about nothing essential, just small talk. But it was the longest discussion we'd had in years. For months after I told my family I lived in Arizona, things had changed. Not fixed, but different. Mom texts me once a week, typically simply saying, "How are you?" or "thinking of you." Small but steady. Dad phoned every other Sunday, and we spoke about work, the weather, and hiking. Emily sent photos of her kids, asked about my life, and actually listened when I responded. Ryan sent memes, stupid random memes, but it was his way of reaching out. I hadn't forgiven them yet, but I was willing to try because maybe, just maybe, they were finally seeing me. And that was enough for now. 7 months after the confrontation, Mom asked if she could visit. The text came on a Thursday afternoon. Mom, Max, I'd really like to see where you live. Would it be okay if Dad and I came to visit? We could stay at a hotel for the weekend. I stared at the message for 20 minutes. Part of me wanted to say no, to maintain the distance, to protect the peace I'd built. But another part of me, the part that had spent years wanting them to care, wanted to say yes. Me, when were you thinking? Mom, next month, the first weekend. Me? Okay. Let me know the dates, and I'll make sure I'm available. Mom, thank you, honey. This means a lot. I set my phone down and took a deep breath. They were coming to Arizona. To see my life. To see the place I'd been living for a year and a half that they'd never asked about. Better late than never, I suppose. They arrived on a Friday evening in October, and I picked them up from the airport. Mom hugged me tightly. Dad shook my hand and then pulled me into an awkward side hug. You look good, Mom said. Healthy. Thanks. Arizona agrees with me. We went to their hotel in Scottsdale. Mom inquired about the desert. Dad commented on the heat. Small talk. Safe talk. I dropped them off and told them I'd pick them up for dinner at 7 o'clock. Can we visit your place first? Mom asked. Let's just eat tomorrow night. Okay. Dinner was odd. We went to a Mexican restaurant I liked. Mom ordered a margarita. Dad got a beer. And I got water. So, Dad said, cutting into his burrito, how's work? Good. Really good, actually. I got promoted last month to senior developer. That's great, son. Congratulations. Thanks. Mom smiled. We're so proud of you. I nodded. Didn't know what to say. Do you have friends out here? She asked. Yeah, a few from work and some people I met hiking. That's good. We're worried you'd be lonely. I'm not lonely. I'm actually happier here than I was back home. That landed heavy. Mom looked down at her plate. Dad took a long drink of beer. We're glad you're happy, Dad finally said. Are you? He looked at me. Yes, we are. Even though I had to relocate to a different state to feel like I mattered. Mom's eyes welled up. Max, I'm not trying to start a fight. I'm just being honest. We know we messed up, she said quietly. We know we didn't pay enough attention. We're trying to do better. I understand and appreciate it, but it will take time. We finished dinner, talked about safer things. Emily's kids, Ryan's new job at a marketing firm, Mom's book club. It was fine. Not great, but fine. The next morning, I took them to my apartment, which was small, 1 bedroom, clean, with minimal furniture, but it was mine. Mom walked slowly through, looking at the photos on my wall, the books on my shelf, the hiking gear in the corner. It's nice, honey. Really nice. Thank you. Dad stood by the window. Good view. Yeah, I can see the mountains from here. Mom sat on my couch. Do you have everything you need? Yeah, I'm good. I'm good, Mom. I promise. She nodded and smiled, but I could tell she was trying not to cry. What? I asked. I miss so much. A whole year of your life. I'll never get that back. I sat down next to her. No, you won't. I'm sorry, Max. I'm so sorry. I know. She wiped her eyes. Can you forgive us? I thought about it. Really thought about it. I'm working on it. but I'm not there yet. That's fair. We spent the day ascending Camelback Mountain, eating lunch in Old Town Scottsdale, and driving across the desert. It was the most time I'd spent with my folks in years, and it wasn't too bad. We didn't discuss much about the past. Instead, focusing on the present. The vistas, the food, the heat. Dad once commented, "I can see why you like it here. Yeah, it's peaceful. It feels like you can breathe." That's exactly why I moved. He nodded and didn't say anything else, but I could see he understood. That night, we had supper at my favorite taco place, and Mom talked about my hiking adventures while Dad asked about work projects. They actually listened when I answered. It felt different, like they were really trying. As we were leaving, Mom hugged me again. "Thank you for allowing us to visit." "Of course. Can we come back? Maybe in a few months." I hesitated, then nodded. "Yeah, we can make that work." She smiled. Relief washed over her face. They flew home the next morning. I drove them to the airport. Mom cried a little when we said goodbye. Dad hugged me longer than usual. "We love you, son." "I love you too, Dad." And I meant it. Even after everything. Even after the years of being forgotten. Even after the pain, I still love them. I just didn't trust them yet. A week later, I received a package from Mom, a framed photo of us at Camelback Mountain. All three of us, smiling with the desert in the background. There was a note. "Thank you for the best weekend we've had in years. We're so proud of the life you've built. Love, Mom and Dad." I put the photo on my shelf next to the pictures of my friends, hiking trips, and my new life. It didn't erase the past, but it was a step forward. For months later, Christmas arrived. Mom called. "We're having Christmas at the house. Will you come?" "I'm not sure, Mom." "Please, Max. It wouldn't be the same without you. You had Christmas without me last year. You didn't even notice I wasn't there." "I know, and that was wrong. But we're asking now, please." I thought about it. "I'll think about it. That's all I'm asking." 2 weeks later, I booked a flight. Not because I've forgiven everything, but because I was willing to try. On Christmas morning, I walked into my parents' house for the first time in nearly 3 years. Emily was there with her children. Ryan was there with his new girlfriend. Mom was making breakfast, and Dad was putting up the tree. When I walked in, everything came to a halt. Emily ran over and hugged me. "You came." "Yeah, I came." Ryan high-fived me. "Good to see you, man." Mom came out of the kitchen, wiping her hands on a towel. She saw me, froze, and then started crying. "Hello, Mom." She walked over and hugged me tight, as if she was afraid I'd disappear again. "I'm glad you're here. And I'm glad you're here, too." Dad came over, shook my hand, and pulled me into a real hug, not a side hug. "Welcome home, son." Home. It was strange hearing that word, because Arizona felt like home now, but this felt like family. And maybe that was enough. We spent Christmas Day together, opening presents, eating too much food, and watching movies. Emily showed me videos of her kids. Ryan talked about his job. Mom asked about Arizona, and Dad asked about Hawaii. Having you here, it feels right. It feels like we're family again. We're working on it. I know, and I'm grateful you're giving us the chance. I nodded. "I'm trying, Mom. I really am." "I know, honey, and that's all I can ask for." That night, before I flew back to Arizona, Dad walked me to my rental car. "Are you leaving early tomorrow?" "Yeah, flight's at 9 o'clock. He nodded, hands in his pockets. "Listen, I know things have been complicated, but I want you to know something. I'm proud of you for standing up for yourself, for building a life on your own, and for being brave enough to leave when necessary." I looked at him. Really? Really? A lot of people wouldn't have done that. They would have stayed and been miserable. But you chose to leave. That takes guts. "Thanks, Dad. I mean it. And I'm sorry we didn't see it sooner. We should have." "Yeah, you should have." He smiled. Sad but genuine. "We'll do better. I promise." "I hope so." We hugged. And for the first time in years, it didn't feel forced. It felt real. I flew back to Arizona the next morning. And as the plane took off, I looked out the window at the city below, the place I grew up, the place I'd left, and realized something. I didn't need them to fix everything. I didn't need a perfect apology or a tearful reunion. I just needed them to try. And they were trying. That was enough for the time being. 3 years after I moved to Arizona, my life had changed dramatically. I've been promoted twice to senior lead developer, and my team respected me. My boss valued my input, and I had a voice that people actually heard. I bought my first home, a small 2-bedroom house with a yard and a mountain view. And I sent a photo to the family group chat. Mom, congratulations, honey. So proud of you. Emily, beautiful house. When can we visit? Ryan, sick place, bro. Dad, well done, son. I received 4 positive responses within an hour. It was such a small thing, but it meant everything. That spring, Mom started calling every Sunday, not to ask for anything, not to guilt me out for missing events, but just to talk. How was your week? Good. We launched a new feature at work. Went hiking on Saturday. Where did you hike? Superstition Mountains. Really beautiful trail. Dad began texting me articles about hiking, Arizona, and technology. Nothing deep, just thought you'd find them interesting. And I did. I sent photos, and she responded. It became a routine. Sunday morning coffee, Mom's call, 20 minutes of actual conversation. It was his way of saying, I'm thinking about you. And it worked. Emily invited me to her daughter's birthday party. Emily, I know it's far, but if you can make it, we'd love to have you. And if you can't, we completely understand. No guilt, no pressure, just an invitation. Me, I'll try to make it work. I booked a flight. I flew back for the weekend. When I arrived at the party, Emily hugged me like I was a soldier returning from war. You came. Of course I came. You invited me. I know, but I didn't expect it. I'm just really glad you're here. Her kids ran up to me, Uncle Max. They barely knew me, but they were excited anyway. I spent the afternoon playing games with them, eating cake, and taking photos. Emily pulled me aside at one point and said, Thank you for coming. I know it's not easy, but it's getting easier. Good, because we missed you. I missed you. I missed you too. Ryan came to visit me in Arizona that summer. Just him. No parents, no girlfriend. Just my brother. When he called, he said, I need a break. Can I stay with you for a week? Of course. He flew out, and I picked him up from the airport. We walked, ate, and sat on my back porch sipping beer and watching the sunset. On the 3rd night, he said something that astonished me. I'm sorry I was such a bad brother. You've already apologized. I know, but I don't think I really got it until now. Coming out here, seeing your life, realizing you built all of this without us, without me. You were dealing with your own issues. That's not an excuse. I should have paid attention. I should have noticed when you left. I don't know. It could have been better. I looked at him. You're acting better now, aren't you? You flew out here. You're sitting on my porch, and you're having this conversation. That's better. He nodded and took a sip of beer. I like it here. I understand why you stayed. It's peaceful. It's more than that. It's like you can breathe here, you know. Yeah, I know. We sat in silence for a while. Comfortable silence. Can I come back? He asked, not to move. Mom cooked breakfast. Dad helped me fix a leaky faucet. We went to a Diamondbacks game, explored Sedona, sat on the porch, and talked. Real conversations about life, work, and everything. Dad once said, You know, I think leaving was the best thing you ever did. Really? Yeah. You needed space. We needed a wake-up call. Everyone won. Doesn't feel like winning sometimes. But you're happy, and we're better. That's a win in my book. Mom nodded. He's right. We're better parents now. I didn't want to force anything. I just left, and that was enough. She remarked, Sometimes people need to lose something before they know what it's worth. I asked her, And what am I worth? Everything, she said without hesitation. You're worth everything. I felt something crack inside me. Something I've been holding on to for years. Forgiveness, perhaps, or just letting go. Thank you, I said quietly. No, thank you for giving us another chance. 3 years after I moved to Arizona, I got a promotion that required relocation to Seattle. I called Mom first. Hey, Mom. Hello, honey. How are you? Good. I have news. I think it's good news. So I got offered a VP position, but it's in Seattle. Seattle? Wow, that's amazing, honey. Congratulations. Thanks. I'm thinking about taking it. You should. That's a huge opportunity. You're not upset? Why would I be upset? Because I just got settled in Arizona, and now I'm leaving again. She laughed. Max, you're an adult. You go where your career takes you. We'll visit. You'll visit. It'll be fine. Really, really. We're proud of you. No matter where you are. I smiled. Thank you, Mom. When do you leave? 2 months. Okay, we'll come out before you leave. One last Arizona trip. I'd like that. They came. We hiked. We ate. We said goodbye. This time was different. There were hugs, tears, and promises to stay in touch. Call me when you get there, Mom said, and send photos of your new place. I will. Dad handed me an envelope to open later, which I did on the plane to Seattle. Inside was a card and a $5,000 check, which said, "For your new adventure. We are proud of you. Love, Mom and Dad." I stared at it for a long time, not because of the money, but because it was the first time they'd ever supported one of my moves. Not with words, but with action. 6 months into Seattle, I received a text from Emily. Emily, "Hey Max, the family group chat is planning a reunion in Summer, Arizona, and your old house is a meeting spot. Would you come?" Me, my old house. Emily, "The family wants to rent it for a week, see where you lived, hike the trails you loved, and experience what you experienced." Me, "That's actually really nice, Emily." Emily, "So you'll come?" Me, "Yeah, I'll come." That summer, we all met in Arizona. Mom, Dad, Emily and her family, Ryan and his now fiancée. We hiked Camelback, ate at my favorite taco place, watched the sunset from my old porch, and for the first time in my life, I felt like I was a part of the family. Not an afterthought, not invisible, but just there. Present. Ryan raised his beer in recognition. Everyone, raise your glasses to Max. For moving to Arizona, for forcing us to get our act together, and for not giving up on us. I smiled and raised mine to second chances. Later that night, I sat on the porch with Mom. "This place is special," she said. "I get why you loved it here. No, you saved yourself. This place just gave you the space to do so." I nodded. "Maybe. I'm sorry we didn't notice you while you were standing in front of us. Do you forgive us?" I thought about it. Really thought about it. "Yeah, I do." She began weeping. "Thank you, but Mom." "Yeah. If you ever stop seeing me again, I'm moving to Alaska." She chuckled through tears. "Deal." I was standing in my Seattle apartment 5 years after moving to Arizona, looking at the photos on my wall. Arizona sunsets, family dinners, hiking trips, group photos. My phone rang. Sunday morning, right on time. "Hey, Mom." "Hi, honey. How was your week?" "Good. Really good." We talked for 30 minutes about work, about life, about nothing important. And when we hung up, I smiled because I'd spent years being invisible, but now I was seen. And that made all the difference.